Thank you for tuning in once again to his Vine and Victory podcast. My name is Kurt Olson. I'm your host, coming to you on Sunday morning, uh, January 4th, 2026. A variety of circumstances kept me from getting this sooner over the New Year's holiday. But what a way to end 2025 and start 2026. Two things focusing on. So events started on Friday, uh, December 26th in Iran. Um, Protests emerged against the uh, Islamic Republic. The mullahs that have been running Iran for 46 years. You started seeing protests emerge, and by New Year's Day, it had spread to 50 cities, then 60 cities, 70 cities. I haven't seen a more recent count, but for the first time in 46 years, and there have been a variety of protests that have emerged in that country over time. One after the girl who was killed by the for not wearing a hijab in public. That was just a few years ago, and back sometime during the Obama years, there was a legitimate you thought at least a legitimate uh, opposition emerging, and obviously that didn't happen. But for the first time in 46 years, you can see potentially the leadership that has been running Iran uh, being tucking tail and heading to the high grass in Russia, in China, uh, somewhere. And events have to play out. We don't know where this ends, but we do have hints already of the United States and Israel monitoring things. We have reconnaissance drones off the Persian Gulf to keep an eye on things that are going on in the country. There has been talks of even both the U.S. and Israel doing more dramatic things like taking out leaders of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard and others. So don't know where this ends, but there is a growing support for Reza Pahlavi. Pahlavi is, I don't know if he's a son, I don't know if he is a nephew, but relative of the prior Shah of Iran back in the late 1970s. And he is on social media in Egypt. That's where he is currently located. And I mean, he is ready to take over the government upon the time when it looks like it's ready. So we'll see how this plays out in the coming days and weeks. But for the first time in 40, imagine a world. Imagine a world where the Islamic Republic in Tehran, Iran, is not funding Hezbollah, Hamas, and a variety of other entities involved in terrorism against the West. Um, it it certainly enters territory. I'll believe it when I see it, but this is looking more believable than ever, just based on recent events unfolding in Iran. And then we have the events of early Saturday morning in Caracas, Venezuela. Now, let's put some things in context here. In recent months, we have had drug boats blown up in the Caribbean. We have had the U.S. military amassing a variety of forces that could be used in Venezuela. Well, we saw it Saturday morning as the U.S. Military special forces, don't know if it was Delta Force, but it's believed potentially it was the Delta Force, um, just took out Caracas in a matter of like 30 minutes, immobilized anything that would resemble some kind of a response by the Venezuelan communist government under Nicolas Maduro. And the U.S. took Maduro and his wife, and they are now in a New York City jail. Now, further context, there was no declaration of war. There was no there was nothing that resembled um, oh, we're going to take care of this really through the Congress. And there's a lot of people who are screaming, oh, he can't do that. That's illegal. Well, you know what? We've had presidents for 40 years engaging in this kind of thing, all without approval of Congress. So let's have equal outrage across the board. Yes, it would even include my own favorite, Ronald Reagan. Um, that would be how far it goes back, and perhaps even longer. Um, so I I am currently sitting on the position of this is a great thing because for the longest time we have had Venezuela being in cahoots with Cuba, Russia, China, and Iran. And Russia, China, and Iran have been able to build outposts in Venezuela, basically intimidating us in our own backyard. And frankly, only God knows how many of those Iranian thugs were able to cross the border during the Biden years, and how many of them currently are still on the loose in our own country. So it's been a long time since we've had a president who has taken this threat by these five countries seriously. And when you throw in the fact that we've also had multiple years now of fentanyl and the opioid crisis going on in our country, and Nicolas Maduro with China and the cartels in Mexico um, in cahoots to uh, inflict all kinds of pain on mass amounts of Americans, um, long overdue. Long overdue. And let's be clear, Nicolas Maduro succeeded Hugo Chavez. Hugo Chavez was a communist thug, period. Um, Both he and Maduro inflicted all kinds of chaos on their own people. They inflicted just all kinds of mayhem on their own citizens, many of whom fled to the United States of America or other locations. And in the description to this podcast, I am going to include something from Adam Housley. For those who are familiar with that name, Adam Housley was a reporter for Fox News back 90s, early 2000s, and he's been away from Fox News for a number of years. But he has a number of really strong sources still. And there was reporting that he did in Venezuela when he was still with Fox News. So I'm going to allow you to go ahead and read the Adam Housley piece that focuses on not just the mayhem that was inflicted on Venezuelans, but the uh, reasons for doing this. And he cites four. I'm not going to do any more spoiler alert there. Um, Read that at your leisure, and I would encourage you to do so. It's incredibly informative, and it comes from a guy who, back in fall 2020, when the Hunter Biden laptop story was emerging, he had already talked to the sources who had direct contact with that laptop, and he told everybody it was real then, and he was right. And so when Adam Housley chimes in on a topic of conversation and current events, um, I tend to listen to him. And he's right on this, and I would encourage you to read what he wrote. And there's a second piece that is connected to this, and this is from Fox News. Um, Within hours after that attack in Caracas, Venezuela, well funded forces on the left with deep connections to communists funded an operation to free Maduro, illegal bombing, a lot of phrases and buzzwords. But let me just say, it's a long piece, but it is worth your time to be familiar with some of the names that are connected on the left, and not just the left. We're talking about the far left. We're talking about the communist left. We're talking about the communist agitating left in our country and in China. And China has much interest in bringing Maduro back to power. And again, Adam Housley explains that. But let me just say, this second piece from Fox News is incredibly educational and informative on helping you connect the dots on who was doing what in the wee hours of Saturday morning right after this attack happened. And um I realize there are people that can be really upset by this happening, and Congress getting informed about it after the fact. Um but I think this is a splendid move, long overdue for a long time. And my guess is when the indictments come, Maduro's going to have uh, 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 multiple charges against him related to trafficking drugs, narco terrorism, you name it. So there's that. And to end this segment here related to Venezuela, I want to give the top 10 reasons or the top 10 functions for Venezuela moving forward. And I'm going to go from 10 to 1 because one of the things that's now going on here is we're running Venezuela. No, let me correct that. Marco Rubio is running Venezuela. But let me do a top 10 list. These are things that just came off the top of my head. Um, the, the top two are there intentionally. But let me give you the top 10 uses and functions for the new Venezuela. Number 10, give it to the opposition party that won the last election and get out of the way. 9, turn Caracas into the next week 1 venue for the NFL. 8, turn Caracas into the next NHL Winter Classic venue. The NHL Winter Classic was just in Miami. Caracas is just a little further south and a little longer plane ride. Number 7, turn Caracas into a major league expansion team. That could be incredibly realistic. Number 6, turn Caracas into the MAGA headquarters. Number 5, turn Caracas into Disney South America. Number 4, rename the country Trumpazuelia. Number 3, turn Venezuela into a location for a canal. Number 2, Venezuela would be the location for Trump Hotel and golf course expansion. And number 1, the number 1 function for the U.S. and Venezuela is it's the location for Trump's third term. And with all of that said, I thank you for tuning in once again. And until next time, God bless and goodbye.